Greetings, my friends. Thank you for watching this video, and if you would be so kind, please subscribe if you like what you see. Help our channel to keep growing and keep fighting the war to save pop culture. Together, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. Enjoy, and thanks. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and I am here today with news that would be very sad if it didn't make me so damn angry. Superman has been sacrificed on the altar of wokeness by SJWs who wish to destroy every hero in our pop culture pantheon. And it's a damn disgrace, not just to longtime comic book fans like me, but to everyone. I'm going to detail exactly why this news should outrage even those of you who are not comic book fans, what the SJW agenda is in killing Superman, and why it matters to you. But first, I want to provide you some background to really drive the point home, so please bear with me for a moment. Now, those of us who fight to save our pop culture from the predations of SJWs and the corruption of corporate cultural vandals have known for a long time that the comic book industry is a woke wasteland, a twisted, hyper-politicized shell of its former self, completely overrun by creepy snowflakes who care nothing for the characters they're writing into the ground. Marvel and DC are both hopelessly mired in nonsensical continuities at this point, having rebooted these characters so many times that they're in many ways no longer recognizable to longtime fans, all with an eye toward making these poor abused characters jump through flaming hoops of wokeness to, I guess, topple the patriarchy, spread LGBTQ+ propaganda, indoctrinate our youth with intersectional feminism, and serve them up in a sprinkling of critical race theory with their morning Wheaties. Why these cultural vandals, disguised as creators, are doing this beyond empty virtue signaling is debatable, but I suspect it has something to do with what Soviet defector Yuri Bezmenov talked about in the 80s and 90s, a systematic dismantling of Western culture to undermine our identity as a people and thus our resolve as a society to resist totalitarian oppression abroad. But regardless of why, looking at the utter woke apocalypse that has strangled the comic book industry, one cannot deny that it has happened. But just when you think that they can't sink any lower, you stumble across something like Action Comics number 1037. In short, I am here today to tell you that the SJWs have struck again and they have killed Superman.
Those bastards! Is nothing sacred anymore, Doomcock?
Nothing at all, Harvey. Almost all of our modern myths at this point have been corrupted by these SJW scumbags. I mean, look at Doctor Who if you want a perfect example of how these things ruin everything they touch. But Superman in this latest issue of Action Comics has been sacrificed on the altar of wokeness, literally sacrificed, run clean through with a spear by Mongul above Starforge on Warworld.
So what? Superman isn't invulnerable anymore? Superman eats spears for laughs on Yom Kippur, dude. You know that.
Yeah. Superman is invulnerable to everything, except bad writing and wokeness, as it turns out. For those of you who have been driven away from the comic book industry like a vampire running away from a crucifix held up in a crossroad by David Cross while listening to a radio playing Crosby, Stills, and Nash, let's talk about how this happened before we talk about why this happened. Apparently, the DC Universe is in an uproar as the current iteration of Mongul, who has replaced his father, the previous Mongul, seeks to prove himself to all of Warworld to be better than his father, and what better way to do that than by killing Superman? Turns out this happens because as Superman and the Authority attack Mongul, Mongul's minions severely wound Midnighter, and Mongul informs Superman that Warworld is positioned above Starforges, a location that emits radiation similar to that emitted from a red sun, radiation that strips away Superman's invulnerability. How convenient! In the ensuing battle, Lightray gets killed, and while Superman is distracted by this revoltant development, as Ben Grimm would say, Mongul runs Superman through with a kryptonite spear, and Superman dies yet again.
Yeah, that's right. Superman has kicked the bucket before, hasn't he?
He has, Harvey. Back in the Death of Superman saga. Back then, the motivation for killing Superman was simply and purely greed. They just wanted to sell a shitload of comics. It was pure capitalism, pure avarice, and pure bullshit. DC had a plan all along to bring Superman back in a weird shell game of prevarication and ludicrously complex plotting, so tortured and overwrought that the editors hoped by the end of it everyone would be so confused and so glad to have Superman back they wouldn't question the convoluted story. DC could just move on with a ton of money and everything would be Jake. It was nothing more than a cynical sham designed to con people into buying a ton of comics, although ultimately it was a terribly idiotic piece of writing that made zero sense. Do you know why Superman didn't really die in that series? Because it was bullshit. The villain who beat him to death, Doomsday, is a villain who cannot fly. Therefore, to avoid being beaten to death, all Superman had to do is pick up Doomsday and throw him into space. Problem solved. Ta-da! Doomsday always regenerates, so it wouldn't have been murder. I mean, that kind of abuse is how Doomsday was forged, by killing and bringing him back over and over again. So all Superman had to do is pick him up, throw him out into space, and if by some miracle Doomsday managed to grab onto an asteroid headed for Earth and return that way, all Superman had to do is throw him into space again. Rinse and repeat. It ain't brain surgery, folks.
Same thing with Thor and the Hulk. All Thor ever had to do is knock the Hulk into orbit and game over for Hulk.
Yeah, but Hulk does need air to live, so I think Thor couldn't really do that without killing puny Banner, you know? But we digress. This current killing of Superman is much worse than the original death of Superman because this time I'm convinced that this is politically motivated cultural vandalism, not simple greed to boost sales. Now, months ago, I was informed by a number of outraged individuals that DC Comics had made Superman gay. I told them at the time it was no big deal. It wasn't Superman who's gay, it was Superman's son. So who cares? His son can be gay, why not, right? So long as Superman himself isn't gay, it doesn't matter. Well, how wrong I was, folks. I had no idea they were going to make Superman's son gay, then kill Superman, then have Superman's son take his place in the continuity.
So in effect, at the end of the day, they have made Superman gay.
Exactly. It was all a ploy, a cunning plan that would make Baldrick himself blush. Regardless of the fact that Clark Kent certainly isn't gay, if you kill him and replace him in the comics moving forward with his gay son, you have effectively killed off a straight white male and de facto turned Superman gay. And thus, this was all a cultural assassination, a coup to ease a gay Superman into the fandom, pun intended. And so literally, folks, literally, Superman has been sacrificed on the altar of wokeness to further the LGBTQ+ agenda, take out a straight white male cultural icon, and replace him with a more rainbow-friendly version.
This is sick.
Well, Harvey, how do you boil a frog? You don't just put him into the boiling pot, he'll just freak and hop out. No, you put him in room temperature water, bring it to a slow boil, and he doesn't realize he's in trouble until it's too late. So it is with the death of Superman. Instead of having Clark Kent come out and proclaim himself a superpowered Charles Nelson Riley, you just quietly ease his gay son into his slot and then bump him off. People think that it's just greed, just a publicity stunt, that Superman will be back. But in the meantime, the gay adventures of Superman reign supreme over the DC universe, and the SJWs have themselves yet another piece of woke indoctrination. Hell, talk about a slow boil. Over at Screen Rant, in an article on this very topic, the author of the piece qualifies his reporting of this story, saying, if Superman is dead, this is a big deal. Claiming that Superman's been dead before, and in comics no one stays dead other than Uncle Ben.
If Superman is dead by being run through the chest with a kryptonite spear and hoisted into the air? Really?
Yep. Well, you know, it could be a clone, a robot, an extra-dimensional copy of Superman. It could be an illusion, a shapeshifter. There are countless ways of wiggling out of shit like this. They can bail on this if the backlash gets too extreme, and if they do retcon this, then it will be revealed to be nothing more than another money grab, all well and good, par for the course. But Superman's son will still be gay, still wearing the cape, and still hogging the headlines, and replacing Superman, the real Superman, Clark Kent, in the minds of countless readers moving forward. A new generation of brainwashed kids who never knew Clark Kent. The comic book industry is a woke wasteland, folks. I suggest that no one should read any Marvel or DC comics moving forward and should instead move over to manga. At least the Japanese know shit from Shinola. But why is this relevant to non-comic fans? The death of Superman is the death of our larger society. These SJW pawn scum actively hate us and our culture. They are hell-bent on undermining everything we love to demoralize us and to reconfigure our civilization to their liking, mutate it into their own image. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Gay people should be respected and should be free to love whomever they wish, free of judgment or interference. But it is quite another thing to say that this minority of people in pursuit of their happiness should be allowed to utterly reshape society to their liking, despite the wishes of the vast majority to the contrary. Minority rights are important, but so are majority rights. That's how a democracy is supposed to work. And right now, it doesn't seem to be working at all. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Ha 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 ha.